Yo guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm gonna go through my three tournament victories in a row in the Icy3P tourneys and go through all my games and explain the rounds a bit. So were three different tourneys. It was a 1v1, which was Roads of the World, and then there was a 3v3, which I played with Yaran and Panos, and then there was a 2v2, which I played with Kule, I think his name was, from Moldova, I think. And that was random teams on just random countries. So yeah, starting off with the first tourney, which was the 1v1, and at this stage I hadn't played in a tourney very long because the time zone was awkward. Or he changed the time for some reason. But yeah, this was the first round, and yeah, obviously it's Chile. And with the summer coverage and 22 copyright, I thought Temuco was probably the most likely, since there's a lot of summer coverage around Temuco. And yeah, it ended up being very much more south actually, so it does extend a bit more south, but yeah, I didn't really consider going there, to be honest, on the island there. This one is just Iceland. I don't really know how to read against Gen 4 Iceland, to be honest. I thought the coast was maybe north, so I tried to look northeast if I could line up the fjord or something, but I ended up not finding anything and making quite a bad guess, but it was northwest instead. And then yeah, here, so the map is called Unique Roads, so I feel like it's not just going to be some random white road. So if it's like something like in Denmark, it's going to be something like distinctive. And I thought that this like wall here might be for like the coast, which they have in Netherlands and Denmark commonly. So I thought this road here made a lot of sense, and it was there. I wasn't sure if it was here exactly, but like one of these western coast roads. So yeah, I end up getting a nice guess there. And then here, the soil is very red, and it looked kind of dryish. So that made me think of like the mountains of New Mexico, maybe. The Gen 3 is also kind of rare. It's mostly Gen 4, but I wasn't sure. I thought it was gonna be somewhere in like this general area. I definitely didn't consider more north with the extreme red soil, and like I don't know, it just didn't feel like more north. But yeah, it actually ends up being in Colorado there, which I didn't really think, but I guess it does make sense. I kind of hedged a bit more north in case it was more north. And the mountain range I thought it would be was also north New Mexico, so that's why. And here we just have the French double dot road lines. And without that, this round would have been a lot harder, I think. So I definitely understand missing the round here if you don't note the road lines. But yeah, I do end up getting the win here with knowing the road lines. So yeah, that was a nice first game there. And I don't actually know where my second game is. So I guess I'll have to, here's some unofficial coverage. Let's see if the brackets, so, okay, looks like maybe I'm playing soon. Okay, I might just cut like in between these in the future. Okay, here's my game. So let's go back to the start. So yeah, this was round one. Yeah, I don't know, it was round one. There's a lot of Kyrgyzstan on this map for some reason. It was like very flat, and I mean, I don't have the compass here right now. Oh yeah, actually I do. So the mountain angle, we were going southeast and it was very flat with mountains in the distance. So I thought that would maybe make sense for down southwest. But I guess it also makes sense for up northeast with the mountains in the distance, because like yeah, I think the mountains I could have lined up a bit better didn't really fit for where I was. So I end up getting quite a bad guess, like as bad as a Kyrgyzstan reading is can be, probably. And I lose like 1,500 on Kyrgyzstan reading guessing, which is a bit tough, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. And here we have, I think Alaska, or is it? I don't even know. I think it was like the eastern road in Alaska, like by the Canada border. Yeah, exactly that one. And I thought it was the USA side because of like the follow car. I didn't think that was on the Canadian side. And yeah, or like the other Google car, and it ends up being correct. This, I just thought it was Primorsk or like the eastern stuff, but with this flatness, I just went here, which ends up, I end up getting the 5k there. I just randomly lined up a road, but yeah, worked out nicely. At this I was very scared on. My opponent insta-zooms into southern Russia, which I tried to look for copyright here. I don't think I was able to find it. But that was definitely my first thought. Now I thought the pines were a bit weird. I hadn't really seen it, but everything else made a lot of sense for this like road where my opponent is. And I was very scared here that this was gonna be wrong. But I couldn't think of anything else better, so I just went for it. I didn't really find it in time, so I just clicked somewhere around there because I wanted to take my time. But yeah, luckily that was correct, even though my guess, yeah, wasn't on the road. But you know, I decided on rather taking my time and looking at the round instead of just zooming into the road. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't really make a difference there in the end anyways. So here is just another obvious Kyrgyzstan. I just insta-sent because like I couldn't be bothered. I don't know what road it is. And yeah, my opponent also gets it. I get some points there, which is nice, I guess. And here we have the triple yellow lines, which is the type of lines you would see in a Chilean national park. Now I wasn't sure exactly where in Chile this would be. I considered something up more north, but I think I just went near Santiago in the end. Because I thought that was maybe the most likely, because it didn't look that northern, and also like the winter Gen 4, like it didn't really feel that northern to me. I don't know if that's real or not, but I think it ends up being a little bit more north, but oh no, actually it was south of me, just near Santiago downtown, so good thing I didn't go more north. And then here I actually got this exact, like, maybe not location, but like stretch of road, like previously when practicing. So I immediately recognized it. So he just assumed it was the Punta Arenas road, I think, but that would have triple yellow lines, so that's not this. I saw my friend Captain also sent a very similar location that was like way more baity, with like this fence. It almost looked like New Zealand, like previously, and I thought it was the same thing, and I remembered it was somewhere around Coyhaique. He's actually in Argentina there, which I did not really consider, to be honest. But yeah, I end up getting a very good guess, which is gonna end up winning me the game. And so yeah, that was nice. And yeah, gave him the GG spam after he question marked me previously. I feel like I had to do it. But yeah, that was a nice victory. And then moving on to the semifinal, I think, against RLH, was it? If I remember correctly. Oh no, it was against Jacob actually. So maybe RLH was another tourney. I don't know. But yeah, so starting off another Kyrgyzstan round, which I think I just end up sending somewhere. Yeah, I didn't know the road. I just clicked middle. Was kind of tired of saying just these Kyrgyzstan logs, to be honest. My opponent looks like he's doing the same thing, just sending middle. And yeah, I was a bit more west there, but whatever, not gonna matter too much. So here again, looks like Denmark, I think. And you know, again, like Denmark on this map, it wouldn't be just like any random white roads. I thought, I mean, it could be the same thing again, maybe. Like not the exact same thing, but like a similar thing. Which maybe would make sense with like, we had a lot of pines, or like it kind of felt coastal to me. First I just clicked middle here, but I think I realized that, oh wait, it's a map where unique roads, yeah. So I just clicked, I think same road, but like a different stretch, a bit more south than previously, and that was a good guess. Doesn't get me a lot. And here is just another Kyrgyzstan round. I think at this point I was like, okay, I'm just gonna send now. I don't care anymore. But this was actually my opponent struggled with this a lot, which I guess I can see. It's not as easy as the other ones, but like the mountains and the coverage felt the exact same. So he actually sends Utah here, and I get the win, which was, I mean, nice. But yeah, I'll take the win there. And I think, am I playing the final now, or is it? Maybe this was now was against RLH. No, that's the final. Yeah, okay, now I played against RLH. So I actually played a lot of games this tourney. So RLH is a very good player, probably the best one in my opinion so far that I played this tourney. So I was not too confident I was going to win this, but I had a pretty good record against him in the Harrier tourneys already. So I wasn't feeling like my odds were that bad here. So here we had Australia. I thought maybe it was Queensland. It kind of angled up, like if it was a unique road, then maybe it would be something like this. And we actually had a railway south. I clicked on an east-west road that had railway. But then I also found another one more north that also had railway after I guessed, which I thought maybe made more sense with the landscape with no trees and, or like the, yeah, I don't know, just general look. But yeah, I already guessed at that point, so my switch didn't go through. I don't know, maybe I should have taken my time a bit more, but yeah, I don't know. It was quite a bad hedge anyway. So here we could see a bit of the cobbler here, so I knew we were going to be in Panama. And these fences felt very, as Panama would say, like Costa Rica spill fences. So I thought it would be Western. And I think he just insta-sent David, which makes sense. But I was like, okay, it's a unique road, so surely it's going to be something like this, for example. And I ended up getting the correct road there, which was nice for a few points. And here we just have Australia, of course. I don't remember exactly where this was. I think it ends up being some random park in Queensland, and I did not think Queensland here first. I feel like this car with like the early copyright was maybe less likely to be Queensland and more likely to be more southern, and it's just a random pine plantation that did not feel very northern to me. So I really wasn't sure here on the reading guess. I think I just end up hedging like slightly southern NSW. Yeah, like Canberra. And luckily RLH also wasn't sure, so I get a bit lucky there maybe. But that was definitely not an easy location unless you've seen the forest before. But yeah, okay, so this one is interesting. So I remember like coverage checking. Well, I've talked about this stretch like here to Sri Lanka with like I think Captain in like a VC a few weeks ago. And I just remember, I thought it was like, looked like Kerala or something. It was green, and I just cover checked it, and it was like, I was surprised by how deserty it looked. Now, I didn't remember exactly how it looked, but we had water on both sides, I think, if you could see, yeah. And the angle fit perfectly, so it's like, okay, I mean, this could actually fit quite well. Now, I wasn't completely sure on this, but I thought it was too good to not send, even though it was very risky, because if it's wrong, I'd probably lose. But yeah, luckily for me, it ends up being the correct thing. And yeah, I mean, I would probably have went where RLH went if I hadn't coverage checked the road recently. So yeah, that was lucky that I did that. And I ended up getting a flawless win there. Now in the other semi-final, there was like a guy who like had a high score on this map and had learned like every road, and I was very scared for playing him, but luckily he got a location that he hadn't seen before. And just lost immediately to Shamsa, which I kind of liked, because then it wouldn't be... I felt like in a best of three against the person who with the top score on this map probably wouldn't be too ideal for me, since it's gonna be less luck and more consistency. So I was quite happy that he didn't win, because I felt my chances against Shamsa are probably a bit better, even though Shamsa is also a very good player, of course. So yeah, we end up starting here. So this is a best of three. Keeping that in mind. And right, there was actually, you could actually zoom if you wanted to, but there was no panning But I don't think I used it like once, I think, to confirm Denmark, unlike the previous round with the bollards. But you couldn't see that really here. So this one was actually not that easy. I wasn't completely sure on Queensland. I thought we had a short reflector, maybe in the distance, and I thought Queensland fit a lot better than South Australia here. It did not really feel like a road in South Australia to me, and I end up getting quite a nice guess there. So that's already like half of Shomsa's HP already. And this, with the unique roadmap, I thought would probably just be the Key West, like the angle fit very nicely, and like it looked super tropical. So we just both end up sending that, and it was indeed there. And this, just the eastern road in Jordan, not too much here. I just kind of lined it up like quickly, just because why not? We're both gonna know the road, like almost, like definitely. So I just like zoomed into something that lined up and guessed, and it ends up being the right thing actually. And I end up getting a 5k there, which was, I mean, I don't know, I just clicked the first thing that lined up, got the nice 5k animation, and yeah, so that was nice. And here, obviously it's India, and this is the type of location I was kind of scared to get, because like, I'm not gonna know the road here, obviously. It's just gonna be some random Indian forest somewhere. I thought maybe it looked more southern, and I thought maybe this map would have more lock southern, because there's probably more unique roads. So I really wasn't sure. I just kind of ended up hedging here and getting very lucky. I just clicked Bengaluru because I thought that would hedge south decently, and I ended up being very close with that hedge. It's just a random like mountain in the middle of nowhere, kind of. And that's almost game already, just with that hedge. Yeah, it's just, you can see it's ended up being some random hills there. And here we have the classic German island Sylt, which is extremely recognizable. It's got a very distinct landscape if you just seen it. It's got this like brown hills-ish kind of. Looks very unique. So yeah, we're both gonna know this obviously. And here maybe I threw a bit, like on this you can't really see any hills or mountains here. It's just a forest. Maybe like the fact that it's a unique road would lean you maybe more north, because like there are probably more like roads you can learn if you go north. But like I didn't see anything here that like indicated that it had to be north, so I just like hedged. I really wasn't sure here. I thought it could be Wales. I did consider north, but I also thought that was maybe not the right call, so I just ended up hedging Liverpool here. Maybe I should hedge a bit more north, but yeah, he ends up getting a lot of points here for that, which, you know, it happens. You can't have only perfect guesses, but yeah, that's 3/5 of my HP down just like that. And here again we got the border road in Canada, USA, and this time I was really not sure which side we were on. I think the maybe the lack of the car, Google car made it more sense for Canada, and maybe the road lines. I'm not really an expert, but he went east of Dawson City, which is Gen 4 I think, so he can't really say I like Moldovan stole that victory there, because his guess is not better than mine in my opinion. But yeah, that is enough to give me the win there, so that's nice. And that was the first game, and in the best of 3. So if I win this next one, I do win the tourney. So here, obviously it's Spain with the yellow chevrons and stuff. I thought probably Canaries here, definitely most likely, with like the rock walls and general landscape, and also the fact that it's this map. I really didn't know which island. I just ended up clicking like Fuerteventura, because like it looked dry and coast was east, but it's just some random western one. So I end up losing some points here. And here it just looks, obviously it's New Zealand. So I thought it was Dunedin immediately, because Dunedin is like quite distinctive, because it's like all the houses are like on a hill. And I know there's like a street in Dunedin that's like the highest street or like the steepest street in the world, and I was like, this is very steep and like it's a unique road, so maybe that would be it, and it would be fun to try and 5k this. And yeah, I just looked for the POI because I knew I'd seen it before, and I found it, and it lined up as well. and it was indeed that, so that was nice. Get another 5k there. So yeah, so this one, this one I really wasn't sure. Like, in hindsight, it's quite obvious that it's New Zealand, with just like this hill in the distance, and like this road feels very New Zealandy. But I really wasn't sure at the moment that it was New Zealand. I was considering Australia, like Tasmania. I also considered Europe briefly, but I wasn't really sure where in Europe this would be. So it's like kind of one of like the similar to the Russia round earlier, where I didn't really know where it was, but I thought the best thing has to be New Zealand. So I just ended up clicking Auckland or something just last second and getting quite lucky there, because that could have ended a lot worse for me, but luckily I did go New Zealand in the end. And here I just thought with the Gen 3 dirt road that looks like super dry that it would be the Lodvar road, which also has the right angle, I think, the one to the left of me, which I did not click, but yeah, I just thought it looked like this coverage a lot, and he did not go there at all, so ends up actually being game here with my guess, because it ends up being up there. So that was nice, and that's the tourney win for me. So yeah, played quite nicely there, got a bit lucky sometimes, but you know, I think I definitely deserved that victory there. So yeah, that's it for this tourney. So now I'm gonna move to the 3v3 tourney with the Panos and Jaron. Okay, so this was 10 seconds, no moving and no zooming, but panning was allowed. So it was very stressful, and I played with two great players here, and against a pretty good team. And this first one, I just hear Panos saying like Mendoza, and I don't even know how I managed to 5k that. I just space plonked, or not space plonk, but I just clicked somewhere in Mendoza, and I somehow got extremely close. The second one here is just 3B. Yeah, the Orbel, like the sand roads, it's probably, I don't know, it just looks like this. There's just so many of these sandy roads. Off-roads in the Orbel, so that's obviously not going to be anything. So yeah, this was definitely the closest best of 3. So every game was best of 3 here, because there weren't a lot of teams, since it was 3 people per team. Yeah, so this was definitely the closest best of 3 in the entire game. So I think we had some Balikish here, chevrons here, the black and white ones, I think. And yeah, both teams know that, so that's not going to be a lot of damage. And then, oh yeah, so this was cool. So I looked at this house, and I thought the tiling, like if you go back, I can't zoom in right now, but looking at the house like here, you can see like it's got this like tiling made of like, I don't know what material it is, but it's like some sort of bendy, like not wood, but like bamboo, or I don't think it's bamboo either. But whatever this is, it's in Plonk. It's very common on Palawan. And I thought with the general landscape that it fit quite well. So I was like, yeah, I might as well send one there. And they thought I was fine. And it ends up being correct, so that was that was a nice call. Gets us some nice damage there. And yeah, so we'll definitely take that. And then here is just kind of standard UK. I'm not really sure exactly where. Probably just England. I went a bit more north, but yeah, it was northern England there, so that works out. Here we just have a standard Norway, very flat, probably somewhere in the farmland around Oslo, was my thought. But yeah, was a bit more south there. They actually sent one in Sweden, so I guess they didn't know the lines good enough. But yeah, not gonna be any damage, obviously. So this was a bit difficult. I wasn't sure. I thought Malaysia, Indo, Philly was our team thoughts, and we didn't really have time to communicate, but Panos made a very good guess there, luckily. In northern Malaysia, so that was nice. I think Malaysia was probably the standard guess there. So we had one Sabah as well, for safety, I guess. This one to me felt like Maine immediately. I don't know why, I can't really explain it, but Maine feels like very, very unique if you just look at the coverage. and I think that was 23. Like it's got this like almost like exposed coverage, and it looks super northeastern, almost like Canada. And so we sent 2 there, and it also did Maine. This one we have a wooden pole, so RGDS and Sao Paulo are probably the most likely. But it just ends up being some random wooden pole near Espirito Santo, which was a bit unfortunate. Maybe we shouldn't have sent 2 in RS, but you know, it is what it is. Luckily, Yaron hedged 1 decently. Here it's just a concrete pole with like random European looking round. I just sent Romania because I thought it maybe fit, and it was indeed there, so that was nice, I guess. Bulgaria also made sense there, and Italy, I guess, also made some sense. So yeah, the country definitely wasn't obvious. Here we have, I think it's a dark blue car, so I thought Maine again, maybe? I don't even know where I sent. Oh no, right, we had a New York plate on that round, so the dark blue, so it was 24 dark blue this time, which would be Pennsylvania-New York border, but I don't think I managed to think of that during that time, but we just had a yellow plate, I think, which I did not see right now. So here we just have some random urban India. I don't really know what to make of it. There's no language or anything visible. It was just Rajasthan, which they somehow got, so well done, I guess. But yeah, those type of rounds are very difficult in 10 seconds without language to reading is, to me at least. And here it's just Europe. The sign here looks very Dutch and super flat, so fits quite nicely as well. So yeah, our Netherlands spread was not great. I don't even know what we tried to do, but yeah, luckily Netherlands is not huge, so it didn't matter that much. And here I think it was just Germany. I don't know, we had some black roofs, which is like common west near Luxembourg, but I thought it was also common like east, maybe sometimes in Czechia. But it was just near Luxembourg there in the end, so maybe not the best spread from us there. But yeah, not gonna be a lot of damage anyways. So here we have Russia, we have C-type, which would be usually like a line from like south to St. Petersburg, or like from Saratov to St. Petersburg, where I clicked kind of, and also in Rostov. But yeah, they did not seem to know their antennas, and luckily we did. So Panos gets a very nice guess. They actually sent to in Ukraine there, which is, yeah, I guess that's also a possibility, but I thought the antenna and the road looked more Russian. But yeah, Panos got the Oblast there, I think, and gets a nice guess that gave us the win in the first game, but you know, it's a best of 3, so that's not over yet. And after this we kind of struggled a bit. So this looks like the new like coverage up northwest on like this one very recognizable road in Gen 2 that got updated Gen 4, but it was actually just the road south of it on the coast. But we both sent there, which makes sense. So here we just had a random Thailand, looked like north maybe with the hills and dry coverage, but wasn't sure on that, and it kind of was north, not like super north. Here we just had a random Japan with low cam, and not a lot else to go off, so we just, I thought the grass maybe looked more Kyushu, but it ends up being Hokkaido instead, so yeah, that's just average Japan reading, I guess. I mean, in hindsight, maybe the trees were a bit more northern, but like, reading in Japan without infrastructure is very tough, especially in 10 seconds. Here I thought the landscape felt very much like this general area, like Maraba, northern Tocantins, southern Maranhão, and with the blue exposed car 24, Maraba felt very good, but the others did as well, so that's why we kind of split there. But it definitely looked like somewhere up there, and so we get some nice points there. Sadly on no multis, but and then here I don't know what we're doing. We have big mountains all around us, and for some reason all of us just thought Quebec. Like, I mean, they have some mountains in Quebec that can look big, but like not that big, and we triple send Quebec for no reason at all and just lose, which was extremely stupid. Like, clearly, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like, the insulators were wrong as well, and like everything was wrong for Quebec here, except I mean, it did kind of look like Quebec, but like you can't triple send Quebec with mountains. That's just not gonna go well for you, to be honest. So yeah, we quite deservedly lose there. But you know, it happens. We can't win them all, and luckily it's a best of 3. So this final game is gonna determine everything now, and it was actually a very scary game. So first we just have a random Lithuania here. Um, Nothing much more than that to say. We just spread the country. And then next one here is just Alaska. I thought maybe it was the road north of Fairbanks, but it ends up being not that at all, and it's just southeast. But yeah, I mean, I sometimes know my Alaskan road, but not always, and clearly not at this time. It's not. It's kind of generic. A lot of them just look the same with the Gen 3 Autumn. Here, yeah, I wasn't sure to be honest, but it was Mexico, I guess. And we do end up going quite north there, which was not the right call, clearly. And they hedged a bit better there, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, just not my type of round, like the suburban Mexico Gen 3 lock. Here just looks like Western Turkey, kind of, the new pickup, but like the pines and the stuff look quite Mediterranean. And yeah, ends up being in between Yaron and Panos there on some random road, but not going to be that much damage. So they're flawlessing us so far, which is not ideal, but 1,000 points is not that bad. We can probably get that back pretty easily. So here, California was my first thought with like the hills and the dryness of the hills, and it I don't know, it just looks so much like California. I think we triple sent even, so that's gonna get us a lot of damage. Back, so we actually take the lead here. And here was quite a tricky round. I probably should have gone this. So we had the like blur, which we can kind of say like here, which would indicate maybe Maranhão or like Bahia or something like that, since they have a lot of blurs there. But my brain was too slow to think in 10 seconds what it could be, since it did not look like Maranhão to me at all. Or like not the standard Maranhão, at least. So I just did not think of that at all in 10 seconds. I don't know where I went even, something bad. So that was definitely not an ideal round for us, and we kind of threw that. And so yeah, now we're kind of down again quite a lot, and here is just a southern Chile, where we again send way too far north, and they get a very good guess, which again is going to hurt quite a bit. So yeah, we're not in a very good position right here. We need to win this game to stay in the tourney. And we get an eastern Colombia round, east of the mountains, which of course everyone is going to know. But yeah, not going to be that much damage here, but again they plunk a bit closer. Maybe our spread wasn't ideal there, but you know, it's hard to communicate in 10 seconds. So it happens, for sure. And yeah, here is this random dry India. Like, I did not know how to really guess this. I think Rajasthan was quite a bad guess here in hindsight, but I wasn't sure. It just ends up being middle, and they send one middle, so they get a lot of damage again. So really not looking too good here. 400 to 2700 HP, and we've only dealt damage on one round so far. So we really need to step up our game here if we want to win this. So here's on north, just going to be Argentina. And our spread is, I don't know how good it is, but we get some points at least, so we're staying in the game. And it gets around 700 to them, takes them down halfway. But yeah, we still have a long way to go, especially since the multis aren't that high. We get a free road here in Australia, which everyone is going to know, of course, with the blue car 2019 and the red soil and stuff. But actually sent one not on this road, which maybe led to us getting a bit more points. So I definitely won't complain about that. And yeah. Then we got just a random Northern Oman, which, I mean, wasn't great, but we were probably not going to lose to this. I mean, losing a plonk off in Northern Oman with 3 people by that much is quite kind of difficult. So yeah, luckily Yaron got a good guess in there, so we did not lose there. actually got closer as well. Here's another India, but we have a lot of these Palmyra palms and extreme flatness. It kind of looks like Uttar Pradesh with Bihar palms, or with these like Palmyra palms, and then I usually just go Bihar. And it worked out this time as well, since Uttar Pradesh doesn't really have these palms. They grow a lot in Bihar. So that's how I got that round. And here, in hindsight, like, it was very gettable. I want to go back to like, if we look like here on this screen, we have a lot of birches. It's quite flat. We have a lot of these yellow flowers, which are usually quite common north. And we also have striped car with 23 copyright, which is extremely common on the Wisconsin-Minnesota north border, where you also get a lot of these forests that look exactly like this. And yeah, I don't know if there was like a wooden signpost or something here, but that would also indicate Wisconsin. But I guess Maine here, which is it's a very bad guess, but luckily Panos really clutched up here and he got an insane guess in northwest Wisconsin, and that was enough to get us to win, luckily. So that was nice. So yeah, without that guess, I don't know if we would have won that game. Would have been very difficult, but luckily we end up winning there, so that was very close. So well played to Team Red there. They played very well. It was definitely a difficult match for us there. So yeah, next game I think was here. No, that was not. Oh right, yeah. Or the game after this. So I think this is our game. Yeah, that was round 2. So let's go back. So we're against, yeah, Icy himself here, the GOAT, of course. So definitely not an easy game. But yeah, we were more locked in, I guess, or played better, or had an easier time, I guess, than last time. So here we had sugarcane plus round poles, and it was Philippines with the concrete pavement. So usually with that you just go negros. Since sugarcane is by far most common there, I went Batangas, which is another area that can have some sugarcane, because I didn't want a triple sand, but yeah, it was just negros. So here we have some trident poles, which we can see over here, and Java roofs. So with that you just go central Java. And with this flatness, I just went for the northeast area, but the northwest area is also very flat and has a lot of rise, which panels went in. And that got us 100 points, so not complaining. And then here we have an Argentina round. Not my favorite type of round. I'm not really very good at these rounds. But yeah, I get a nice guess there. I think I got that because the grid was like straight east-west, and we had like winter coverage, which makes a lot of sense for La Pampa. But I mean, it's kind of hard for me now because I'm watching Icy, so I can't really see how our team is playing exactly. But yeah, here, I don't really know, it looked very southern. It's just India is a difficult country. It was just East Coast there actually, which I didn't really expect. But yeah, it is what it is. Here we had some poles without supports in Brazil. So I just thought like northeast, but Piaui makes a lot of sense because it didn't really look northeastern. It looked a bit more like the sort of western stuff. And then there's a geoguessr glitch with the zoom in, I guess. But yeah, Panos went there, so that's fine. So here we have a T sign back over here, which I think is very common in Texas and Colorado, if I remember correctly. And with the 23 copyright and the mountains, I mean, these mountains are obviously never Texas, so I was like, it's probably Colorado then, also fit with the copyright. So, and yeah, they didn't actually summon Colorado, so that's some points at least, which I won't complain about. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's real or not, but I think it's kind of real. Worked this time at least. Here we just obviously have Hokkaido, we can skip this. Not much to do there, just try and reading as Hokkaido the best you can. Or split, I guess. And here we have another Argentina with this car. Quite flat, so probably like Santiago del Estero, but again, I'm not very good at Argentina, so But yeah, I was actually in Catamarca by the border with Santiago del Estero. And Panos gets a good guess in there. And I just went Santiago del Estero. And here we have a very recognizable road, so it's going northeast, and we have this extreme dryness, like these very dry hills. It's basically like, yeah, very recognizable for that specific road there that we went on. So yeah, obviously I recognized that immediately. And yeah, some damage at least. Here, kind of difficult. I thought Canada at first, but I realized that the vegetation felt way more southern than that. So I think I just end up guessing like Nebraska or something, Kansas, which ends up getting us a lot of damage. Since it was actually eastern Colorado, which is very difficult to get. But that was definitely not the easiest of rounds. It's just like average Great Plains round, which is kind of hard to read and guess sometimes. Here, windmills and holy poles are just Gujarat. And it's just Gujarat reading guessing. It's not really much. It's kind of like the Hokkaido one. Probably not going to be a lot of damage. But yeah, ends up being a little bit at least for us, which is, yeah, not complaining about that. And here, just another India round, very flat with the boxy car, so maybe thinking like somewhere north where you get less mountains, and ends up being just downtown New Delhi. So yeah, not going to be anything special there either. And here we have a New Zealand round. I'm not actually sure what this ends up being. I think it was actually Max South, which like this kind of salt and pepper grainy road makes a lot of sense for. And I think the fences were also South Island, but I kind of panicked a bit there. But luckily Panos was there to save us a bit. Here again just looks like standard Java, very flat with the rice, so probably going to be one of these like areas in the north that grow a lot of rice and it's very flat. And it was that area in West Java, and yeah, everyone gets a very good guess in there, but sadly it's not enough to win the game. We have to go another round to try and do that. And here was almost very bad by us. We almost triple sent Slovakia here, but luckily Yaron saved us by going one Bulgaria. I don't know why we even sent Slovakia on this, since it's quite clearly like Bulgaria with like the road and like landscape and everything. But you know, in hindsight it's easy to be smart, but at the time it was quite difficult. So here we just had a spring Gen 3 coverage, looked quite dry, quite Mediterranean, which is very common in Denizli. So I just clicked Denizli here, and it was enough to win us the game. Yeah, so yeah, we'll take that. In game 2, we start off in USA here. Feels a bit more western again, with like this kind of field. It's not really corn, it's another, I don't know if it's a sunflower or something. But yeah, or that was what I thought at least. That's where I went, but it ends up just being Illinois. So I guess I was wrong both now and then. But yeah, Yaron had a good guess there. And then this, I don't really know. I think I just went by here or something. This just looks like average, like standard, yeah, or Tocantins. There's just Minas there. That's kind of a difficult round. I don't know if that was like a cluster with 23 or if it was just a random 24 with blur. But anyways, it's a very difficult round to get correct. Here we have Kazakhstan. I thought these like hills were the ones you get western. And that was not the right call, it was a Shymkent. But yeah, we both sent west there because I thought the hills were there. And which was not very smart, but luckily Panos was there, so it was fine. So yeah, definitely got a bit lucky on some rounds. So here we have this red and yellow sticker here, which is only like Kibdo and one of these states, I don't remember. And the road looked super Kibdo as well, like with the cloudiness and the like gray sort of concrete pavement. So definitely thought it was going to be one of these roads. Looked like West Coast anyways. But yeah, got the road there, which is nice. This is just Po Valley with the black sideback and the flatness with poplars. Looks extremely unique. Once you've seen it, also double outer white lines make a lot of sense. Here I kind of try to go Andorra, like I guess the snow poles and like the bad road probably isn't going to be Andorra, but I wasn't sure. But luckily none of us went Andorra, so it just looks like we are extremely like good at reading guessing Spain and knew the country, which was not really the case, but we'll take it. Luckily it wasn't Andorra, it wouldn't have mattered that much. So here they wondered how we got France so easy, but here there's actually a blue sticker, which one of us spotted. So yeah, we knew it was going to be France based on that, but otherwise it's not a very easy round. I definitely think we would have sent one France anyways, but definitely would not have committed. But yeah, they did not see the blue sticker at all, so we got a lot of points here. And yeah, it was not game, but it was a lot of points. So that was definitely useful. But yeah, weird round for sure. So here we have the antenna without any other car visible, so that would probably mean Austria, and probably like more central Austria, and not like eastern at least, with like the antenna, because yeah, that's more the distribution. And again, the Syrah with very little HP, but you know, we're up by so much and there's no multis, so not really that worried here. As long as we don't send Quebec on mountains, we should be fine. So here we just have a round that looks like Bulgaria to me, but it actually ends up being in Hungary, which Panos don't want to get that correct. And yeah, those trees look very Bulgarian, but the road in hindsight makes a lot of sense for Hungary as well. So yeah, nice pickup there. And we win this one 2-0 and go to the final against Triserik and Dev. And Schwarzer, I think. But yeah, this is the first appearance of Triserik in this video so far. But he's definitely gonna appear more. So yeah, so we start off here in the final against them. Also a best of 3 with just a Yucatan round. And somehow Triserik knew the road. I'm not really sure how, but I mean, I guess it's like this peninsula, so it's maybe recognizable, but like it's not really on there. But yeah, nice guess there anyways. By Triserik. But you know, it's fine, it's only round 1. We're not really worried yet. Here's just standard Germany, B-type guardrail antenna. We don't really have to look at that. It was Western Germany there. Maybe we had some black roofs. But yeah, nothing much there. This is just another Brazil round that is quite difficult to guess. I'm not really even sure how he spread this. I guess it was striped card 23, or like earlier than 24 at least, which is very common in MGDS, which kind of fit with the landscape, but it also like exists a bit in southern Goiás, like Spill, which is where I went, and it ends up being there, so that was nice. Here was just USA somewhere. I really wasn't sure on the reading is here, but yeah, it was just Maryland there. I don't know if I had a meta, but it was like super flat, kind of looked coastal a bit maybe. I didn't really look at the round properly now. Maybe we had some meta there, I'm not really sure. Maybe we had some pines or something. So here I think it's USA with the car, but the reading guessing is not that easy. I guess California makes the most sense, but like ends up being over the border in Oregon. So those outer white lines with no middle line is very common in Cali. But yeah, actually ends up being in Oregon there, so I guess that's a bit of spill in southern Oregon. So here, just a random India round. Kind of brown soil, so went Maharashtra maybe made sense, but I just went Madhya because I don't know. Someone, I think Yaron was already in Maharashtra, and I just hedged and it worked out. Here, just classic Washington, or maybe Oregon. I think we actually, Pano said we saw the volcano to the west here, which is how we got very close. I can't really see it here, but yeah, so that was a nice spot there. I don't know if we had an Oregon meta, or why everyone went in Oregon, but yeah, to me it could have been both, without the volcano, obviously. So here I think it's just the northern wild road with the blue car and the extreme red soil. And like the extreme dryness, which makes a lot of sense for this road up here, which we all get, of course. Here's another Australia round. I think it looked more southern, even though Tasmania, I guess. I think Victoria probably made the most sense here with like the southern sort of kind of, I don't know, vibe to it, I guess. The trees felt way more southern and quite green and like quite coastal feeling to me at least. But black car is, I think, a bit rare in Tasmania. So here it kind of just to me looked a bit like Kaliningrad. I don't know. We had to spread somewhere, and I just went north near Kaliningrad because it kind of reminded me of the Kaliningrad coverage. It was a very nice Poland reading us there. Definitely wouldn't have went there if I played myself. Would have just clicked middle, but you know, had to try something and ended up getting a bit lucky this time. Here is just another USA. Houses look kind of northeastern. I think I'm in Maine again. Yeah, I was Maine there, which makes sense, I guess. Like, I can't remember if I had a meta for Maine there or if it just was a vibe, since I played this like 1.5 weeks ago and I cannot hear my comms. But yeah, and here we have another USA. Yeah, this just looks like a standard like central somewhere USA. Wasn't really sure. And it just ends up being near Baltimore in Maryland. Definitely not a very easy round. Here in Mexico, we just have these big mountains, so probably going to be somewhere north. And was just near Torreon there. Yeah, I'm just going to skip forward. So here we have these tiles, which is like more common in the east of India, like northeast. I mean, there are different variants of tiles, which I don't really know. But yeah, it just ends up being on the name, but everyone is kind of east there, as you can see. But yeah, that's definitely fine. Not losing too much, we're in a solid lead here. Haven't done any huge mistakes so far. Here we get a New Zealand, I think, which is a good country for tree Zurich, but you know, it's just North Island, I think, so it didn't matter that much. And oh yeah, no, I remember this. This was like, so they committed something up here for some reason, and they both went South Island, even though we had a North Island fence, and I couldn't say that in time. And then when I tried to say that, I didn't have enough time to guess myself. And I was obviously going to go to North Island, so we actually had no one on North Island, which is a bit maybe lucky that we didn't lose more points, but also kind of funny because I can imagine that Tree Cirque wasn't very happy with the result there. But you know, I guess that could have been a lot worse for us if it was where they guessed. But this is just Turkey somewhere. I don't really know exactly where. It was very southern. Yeah, I'm not an expert on Turkey, so not sure how to get that one, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is. And then next one, super red soil, very flat, blue car, just a standard of Oklahoma as you can get. So we almost triple sent here. We probably could have triple sent like they did, but we decided to send one north in case. But yeah, it just ends up being Oklahoma there, near Texas. Makes sense. And here, another USA, we have these double reflectors, so it should be California. Looks southern with the palms. I think I went San Diego. Los Angeles makes sense as well. Kind of was just like southern Los Angeles suburb. And San Diego guesses were closest, so not going to be anything there, of course. So yeah, we're losing at the moment, but you know, I'm not too worried here. So here we got some Eastern Road in Russia. Kind of tough to get this like in a short amount of time, but Panos got a like 5k here, and also Treeser got a very good guess, so very impressive from both of them there. Get such good guesses. Gonna skip the 5k animation because I think we've seen it enough already. So this is Peru. I wasn't really sure, but luckily they were, or at least they got the Cusco area there. So yeah, well done by them. And next round was Japan. Kind of looked northern to me. Low-key we could have probably like sent one Hokkaido, but it looked definitely northern to me. They triple sent Hokkaido, which was very interesting. I don't know why you would triple send it. Definitely one send would be very reasonable, and we probably should have done that, but Definitely could have just been some random mountain and like didn't even have to be that northern. It wasn't. I think it was in Tohoku, but like southern Tohoku. So yeah, we could have gotten even more points there, but yeah, I'm not complaining. So here, no front looks very much like Quebec. So it's just, yeah, like Quebec. We sent one in Pennsylvania in case, which is, I mean, definitely fair enough, more fair than their spread, but yeah, we don't guess him here, so I'm not gonna do that. And another USA round here again. There's a lot of North America on this map, which I'm honestly fine with. I'm kind of fine with USA. We actually had a Wisconsin sticker here, I think, which is like here, which is what we end up seeing here. Here, I think. So yeah, we were confident on Wisconsin, and that's going to be enough for the game, luckily. So yeah, that was a nice spotting by us there to get Wisconsin. I think we definitely would have sent one Wisconsin without that as well, so it would have been game. But yeah, nice confirmation to triple send on them, you know, to look cool, I guess. So yeah, we're up 1-0 in the final, so we just need a second game here to win the whole tourney. So start off here with just Romania. We have a lot of tiled roofs, so Western makes sense. And yeah, he got the city correct there. I don't know how, but it's a very good guess. Anyways, Western definitely was the standard guess there with all the tiles, but yeah, in 10 seconds it's hard to communicate and think too well. Here, just kind of standard Finland round, just the standard Gen 3 autumn coverage you get in Finland. Yeah, just middle, not much to say there. Here we just have a standard Chile round. I wasn't sure on the reading guess, didn't think it was that southern with the winter coverage. It ends up just being near northern Temuco there. Yeah, I'm not really sure on that. But yeah, here we have a Poland round, I think. It was 22 copyright and the houses look very Polish. Maybe it was 24 or something since I sent Germany and the other guy did as well. But it definitely felt more like Poland, but we did split up there in case. And yeah, red car here. I don't know if that's a Gujarat meta, since I've seen it a lot in Gujarat, but I think we had holy poles here anyways. And that's why we all sent there. But maybe we weren't 100% sure since we didn't commit. But I think there were holy poles or language or something. And here we just have a southern or a Peru. I thought maybe more southern, but I still went Lima to hedge. And it was just a bit south of Lima there. So yeah, I guess I'll take the damage. Here we have another USA. Looks very much northeastern to me. I went Maine here again. So maybe I'm oversending Maine a little bit. And it actually was in Canada, which we did not expect. But I guess Maine makes sense if it was US because it looks like Canada. But I didn't consider that car. I've never seen that car in Canada before, but obviously it's new 24, so that's why. But the exposed striped car, but it definitely makes sense in hindsight to go there. So here we just all thought it was free Italy. We had a concrete pole, looked very dry. And but actually we had a no car, and Panos asked if it could be Turkey, and actually ends up being there, and he switches there last second, which was very nice for us. Gonna get a lot of points. So yeah, that was really nice. Here we just have a random long antenna Russia. Looks kind of northwestern with the soil, I guess, but yeah. Also in Smolensk there, so yeah, Panos gets the Oblast, which is going to be more points. So at this point we're feeling kind of confident. We have a good lead, and a 1-0 lead already, so we just don't have to choke at this point. And here we have an Argentina round. Kind of looks more southern to me, very flat, kind of like cold climate looking, but it just ends up being Cordoba. And yeah, I don't know. And here we just have the shit cam road in Alaska, which is the one that goes from Anchorage to Fairbanks, the big road, which, yeah, everyone knows, so that's not going to be any real damage. Yeah, Sword Slicer gets a good guess, but it's not going to matter that much. Here we have another Argentina round. East-west angle, so I don't know. I guess that road makes sense, but yeah, as I said, Argentina is not really my strength, so just happy to not lose too much there. And yeah, here I think we had no car, which just usually means you go Austria in Europe. I still went on Germany in case, because Germany can occasionally have no car, and it was 23 copyright, which made also sense for Germany, but was most likely just going to be Austria. But yeah, better safe than sorry when we're in this Grufa lead. And here it just looked like Parana. We had Parana pines, I think, and a very like rolling hilly landscape. So yeah, definitely made sense. And ends up actually being an RGDS there, which I guess also makes sense with the Piranha Pine and the rolling landscape and the striped car as well, specifically. Maybe it's more common there. But yeah, definitely would have sent Piranha if I play myself there. But RGDS also makes sense in hindsight. And maybe actually more sense when you think about it, but it's quite hard to think about it. And here, yeah, it's just up north near the border. Just looked like a northern South Africa, not much to say. There we just spread out. And here, and I just thought, like, we had a north-south grid and we had a lot of oil palms, so I just thought that Medan felt very good because they have a lot of this like north-south grid, and they were very confused there clearly, and they had a bad spread, which gives us the win actually. So yeah, that was that tourney. So shout out Yaron and Panos for helping me get this win. And we definitely played quite well there, I would say. Had good teamwork. So yeah, that was definitely nice. And yeah, that was this tourney. So now I will see you in the third tourney, which I played 2 days ago. So here we have the 2v2 regionalism tourney. So basically every map was on a specific country. So our first game was in Mexico. So this definitely could have gone a lot worse, because every time you got a country, the wheel removed it. So there were a lot of countries that weren't great here, let's just say that. But luckily for us, we didn't get any bad countries or any players that are insane in a specific country and get the country against them, because that would have sucked. But yeah, the first one here just kind of looked northern. We both thought it was Sonora, but I decided to head Chihuahua in case, and it ends up being Chihuahua, but Sonora I guess is still closer. But yeah, obviously scoring is going to be quite rough here. But yeah, so that I guess was fine. So here in hindsight was very free. Oaxaca, we had like a car that's Oaxaca specific, which you could see here. Like, I'll just go back, whatever. So we had like this black striped car, which is unique to Oaxaca. And then like we had red brick houses with like double stories, which are also very common in Oaxaca. And then yeah, you can kind of see here, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's like white, like a striped car with black instead of blue, which I think is only Oaxaca. So that was definitely a very gettable round, but none of us got it. And then here, we had mountains to the west, I think, that looked like Monterey to me, or like that general area, like these ones over here. So I just sent downtown Monterey to hedge. Torreon also makes a lot of sense, where my teammate guessed, so that was definitely a nice call as well, which ends up actually being correct, so we get a lot of points there. Yeah, those mountains I don't think would be up there. But yeah, it happens. And then here, just like average, like looks like Tabasco or something. It's just kind of hilly, very green. Doesn't really look like Yucatan, but like kind of like similar in a way. So I think we just end up hedging Veracruz, like in a northern Chiapas here. I think it ends up being Campeche, which I guess makes some sense as well, since it's like close to Yucatan, but not really there. And here we have a Nayarit plate over here. If you zoom in, it's like white and then red on one side. It's kind of like the Malta flag, so I remember it. It's very distinctive. Also, like this payment would be more like Jalisco, Nayarit than Yucatan. So yeah, I was very confident in that, but we didn't commit anyways, because there's not really a point, since I was close enough anyways, because Nayarit is not a big state. But yeah, that's gonna be game. So that was a nice first game, and then second game I was actually not very happy because we had a very good player against us in Hosoya, who is a very, very strong player. So yeah, okay, I finally found our game. So it was supposed to be down in Jinji, but Jinji, as usual, didn't show up, so he subbed in Hosoya instead, which is not a worse player than Jinji. I would say he's probably even better. And we have Indonesia, which is definitely not the worst country, but also not the best. So this is a very free Lampung. We have these like spaced out houses with tiles, and there's also Lampung payment with like rocks in it, which is very, very Lampung. So we could have committed that, but yeah, we didn't. But we definitely could have, but it's fine. Round 2 was very Kalimantan looking round to me. We had like very like rural locations. We had oil palms, very red soil with like these wooden houses as well. So it all felt extremely Kalimantan to me and to both teams. I thought maybe this mountain was like one of those you see in West Cali. You see like random big mountains sometimes, which is why I went there. But actually ends up just being in Sumatra there, which was quite surprising to me. But yeah, everyone went Kali on that, which I think was definitely the right idea, even though it was wrong. So here was actually very gettable. So it said like KPN on the box, which I thought stood for a city, but I just didn't know which one. So I tried reading against this, and I wasn't sure at all. Like, I didn't think it was Java, because there were no tiles, but I wasn't sure. It kind of looked like Sula a bit to me. I think I did go Makassar with like the palms, but we didn't have any Sumatra palms. But it actually ends up being Timor and Kupang, which definitely makes sense with the letters KPN. So if I just thought of that, I probably could have gotten the city there, but I didn't think of the Kupang or like Timor at all. But it actually makes more sense in hindsight, but yeah, definitely not an easy round. But yeah, so here we just have Sulawesi roofs with like the classic, yeah, tilt on them. So we send one South Sula and one Southeast Sula, because that's where you get and it was South Sula, and they did not send one there, so we get a lot of points from that actually, which is nice. And here we just have Java roofs with tiles, and yeah, not much else to say. Kind of mountainous. Didn't really feel like East Java to me, because it's more like volcanoes and stuff there. We didn't really have that there, but that's, I mean, obviously not for sure. So I did send West Java, which it was indeed. And we get 700 more points there, so we have a pretty good lead at this stage. So we just don't have to throw now. Well, it's not that easy, because there's still no multis, and it's not that much. Here, another difficult round. I wasn't sure. There's no architecture to go off here. It's just landscape, and there are no oil palms, and kind of random. So Java is probably standard here. So we had one in Java, and now I didn't really want to commit because I wasn't sure. So I was thinking of where to go. I just went Sumatra because that's like the biggest island. So I just thought maybe that's the most likely. Just go somewhere in like the hills there. But yeah, maybe could have committed that, but I didn't really want to commit when I wasn't sure for completely. When we're in a good lead like this, no multis, it's not really worth it in my opinion. But I mean, India is a big country, so if it was east, we would have lost a lot. But yeah, luckily it was just central, so we actually got some points there. Kind of stole a few points, but yeah, we'll take it. And here, again, I think we have like some tiles over there, but it's kind of hard to see. But again, it's like kind of a hard round. There's not a lot to go off. And they end up committing Sumatra here. And it's kind of same again. I think it's Java, but I don't want to commit. So I just think of what else to send. I definitely should have sent Sumatra as the second guess. That was stupid, because that was definitely more likely than Sula. But it's fine, since luckily it was Java. If it was Sumatra, that would have been a problem, but luckily it wasn't. So here it's just, we have a Kabupaten Bone, which I actually do know, and I know it's the east coast of Sulawesi. Sadly, I didn't remember exactly where it was, so if I did, we would have won here, but I just knew it was the east coast of Sulawesi, or South Sulawesi, or like somewhere like around there. I actually pinged him in Makassar there. I don't know why, because I knew it wasn't there, but we barely don't win there just because of that. So now it's just perfectly set up for a multi-merchant here. And starting off, we get this round. So we have these poles, which I thought were maybe West Cali, but they looked a bit weird. So I was a bit suspicious of that. And it didn't really look like Cali to me that much. Like the houses were not really typical of Kalimantan at all. And the landscape was a bit weird. So I did not want to commit this, but I did go in West Cali, and I did end up going West Cali. But I did ping him not to commit in the end, because I wasn't confident enough to commit that. And that was good, because it was not West Cali at all, it was just random Lampung, which is very tough to get there. But that's 1500 points, could have been a lot worse if they were on it. We could have even lost there, almost I think. Maybe not lost, but nearly lost. But yeah, so here, this was very gettable. We have like this very thin road through the mountains, which is very common in Bali. They were actually zoomed in on Bali here, I think, and if they would have went there, they would have won. So that's very lucky for us that they didn't. But here again, I was like, maybe Java, maybe Sumatra, I'm not really sure. I did not think of Bali, but you see here Ruben zooming into Bali, so that was very lucky that I didn't guess there, because then we would have been screwed. But instead, it's just not that much damage, because Indo is big, or the scoring is like not great. So that was very relieving for us. So here we have obviously Nusas. These palms are very common in like Timor and Rote, and we had 24 copyright and it was very flat. So I really thought this was Rote. That was my main thought. But I didn't want to commit to Timor and Rote in case it was wrong, and then we'd just lose to like a random Summa or Isnusa plonk. So I just told him to hedge a bit, and I decided to hedge Timor Rote so we wouldn't lose. Because I thought maybe they won't send Rote, so I'll win if it's Rote, and if it's Timor we stay alive, which was the case here. It was Rote, but they didn't go there, so we do end up winning there with the water hedge, which was kind of what I hoped for. But yeah, I mean, if it was Rote and I would have won if I sent there and I didn't win, that would have been annoying. But you know what? It is what it is, and luckily it ended up working out nicely this time. So now we have Yaron and Triserik, actually, not Yogilochi, because Triserik replaced him. So we will get another game against Triserik. Luckily I did not get New Zealand against Triserik, as someone else did. We instead got Canada, which is one of my best countries. I'm not as good at this. I don't play it as much anymore. Canada used to be like my main country, like half a year ago or a bit more. But it's still definitely one of my stronger countries, I think. So I was definitely happy to see this, even though I know Triserik also got a bit happy in chat when he got it. I still wasn't too worried, because I still thought we were gonna have a pretty easy time in winning this. Since we were, had the confidence after our game so far, and as you know, I had a very good streak in the tourneys here, so I wasn't gonna lose on one of my good countries. So here's just a Sask Plankov. We all know it's Sask, because it just looked like Sask, and the ridge row was too high for Alberta, and I don't think they have ridge rows in Manitoba. But I can't reading his Sask, but Treasury could a bit, so he got like 1000 points for just that, which is a bit annoying, but what can you do? It is what it is. Round 2 here, we had a 418 area code, which is northeastern Quebec, so that's like northeast of Quebec City basically, and Quebec City downtown and the area around it. So with the stripe card 24, Saguenay made a lot of sense, I told him, and he liked that idea, so I think he clicked there. And also I just went Quebec City, I think, to hedge if it was somewhere around there. And it ends up being a bit east of Saguenay, I think, so we get some points on the coast there, which I guess makes some sense. But yeah, we'll take the points, I guess. Could have been more, but yeah, not complaining. And then round 3, we have so green poles, which is very common east. We have 250, which is the BC area code as well. And we have huge mountains to the east and a very flat valley with the northeast angle, which the angle was a bit weird. So I thought the angle would mean, or I thought the mountains would be only like the Banff Jasper National Park stuff, like the Rockies. But the angle was weird, so I tried to line up something that fit on like the main road, which was like had a flat valley, and I only found one thing that worked, and yeah, it was indeed there. So I ended up getting the right stretch there, which was nice. Not gonna be that much damage this year, I almost also won it, but I'll take it, I guess. And then here we just have no fronts, the insulator is off here, and a normal transformer. So Nova Scotia or Quebec, and then I think the double yellow lines made us just go Nova Scotia. Also look way more like Nova Scotia than Quebec, it felt very Atlantic. So yeah, that was definitely a commit on Nova Scotia, so it's just a Nova Scotia plonk off, which they end up winning a bit by going the wrong coast. So yeah, another 500 points in a plonk off, which is, you know, tough, but it happens. And here we have 780 area code over here, I think, or here I saw. I thought it was 780, which was the only thing that made sense anyways, because I saw the 7 first, which is northern half of Alberta. So I thought Edmonton was probably standard yellow fighter hydrant fits, and you know, just looks like an industrial sort of area of like a big town or city. So that made the most sense. And then I don't know, I didn't know where to tell him to guess, so I just pinged him like southeast or something, like where the area code ends, because I didn't think it was too far north. But yeah, it was just a Edmonton suburb there, which was quite expected. But yeah. And then here, just a Newfie. So this was quite gettable in hindsight. We had like no trees, which is common on like southern Newfie. Or we had like very few trees at least. So the south coast made a lot of sense here. I kind of wanted to commit this like St. John's Peninsula or just send like one there. But I had to hedge a bit since he wanted to go west. So I couldn't really commit to that. I had to hedge a bit since, I mean, I thought it could easily just be middle as well. But yeah, ends up actually being over there. So we're a bit lucky to not lose more. I definitely should have done south coast with the lack of trees. So that was definitely a skill issue. But luckily it's not going to cost that much. And here we have another, what we thought was Nova Scotia with the double yellow lines again. So we had this like soil here, which felt like, not really red, but more like purplish, which felt more like New Brunswick or something like that. So I thought, okay, maybe it's like this peninsula close to New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island with the soil. But it actually just, the lines ended up being bait. I think we had the like bilingual signs there, which I realized maybe a bit too late, and I didn't really think about that until after I guessed. And the lines were just bait, and it's actually just New Brunswick. So that was definitely gettable, both with the soil and the bilingual language, to at least send one in New Brunswick, and don't trust the lines, but yeah, by standard you just go Nova Scotia there anyways. So here again, just double yellow lines, looks like Nova Scotia, kind of. But here, it's a bit more sus here, like the sandiness of the soil and like the trees don't feel as Atlantic as previously. So I definitely wasn't as confident on Nova Scotia here. So I definitely wanted to hedge one in Quebec just in case with the insulator. Since, I mean, the insulator's never New Brunswick or something like that, and I don't think, or Ontario. So I just hedged Quebec because that's the only other possibility. But yeah, it was just Nova Scotia there, which was the most likely. And yeah, they did not send one there, so we get some points back. So that's nice. And now I think we got a big round here. Yeah, so we got 2019 in Newfie. Obviously it was going to be Newfie, with the guardrail and like the trees and everything. So I just instanced like this peninsula here, because I was like, okay, it was here last time and I was mad that I didn't send there, so I'm just gonna send there, so he had to hedge instead. Or something. But yeah, I end up just 5King instead, somehow. It was just downtown St. John's. But yeah, committing west there, I definitely wouldn't have done it. I don't know if the like Gen 4 is more like around there on like small roads, but like, I don't know. I just thought that was the most likely, and it was a good guess. So now we just wanted small rounds to end it off here, or like rounds like this, just like Manitoba plonk-offs. That's like the type of rounds we need. So we have Manitoba bollards here, and also Manitoba plate. Also just looks like Manitoba a lot. So now it's just a plonk-off in Manitoba. I don't know, I tried to line up something, but it did not work out. I didn't find it in time. So we just end up hedging. He sent there, and I just sent like near Winnipeg, with like intersection, but just a bit more west. And that's not enough for game, sadly. And I was just hoping we don't get some random dirt road with some copyrighted tree nose, which is what I was scared was going to happen. We get an Ontario here instead, which was fine, because I knew it was going to be Southern Ontario. We had this blue house number, which made me think near Quebec, since that's usually where you get those. and I thought the angle didn't fit where I was right now. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a bit more west then, but it actually fit perfectly for like the eastern, just like if I go up near Ottawa. But I did not look at that for some reason, so I probably could have won right there. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. It's not gonna be that much damage. Well, it's 500, but you know, could have been a lot worse. But yeah, we're still in a good lead. We just need something small. But now is where we get like the dirt road, and I was kind of annoyed to see this at first, but I had to lock in. So we had 24 with the striped car, and I thought the new Ontario would be blue car mostly. And I also saw this insulator here, like going out like in two pieces, almost like a boomerang or something, kinda. And I thought that was a BC thing. You can also get it in Ontario, but like rarely, I think. So I thought with the striped car, 24, I know there's a lot of like new coverage on like Prince George with this car and dirt roads. And I thought the trees maybe could fit for BC, and it also made sense. I did not have time to think of anything else, so I just had to hope it was here. I did not see where they were here, or like think of where my teammate went or something. But yeah, I mean, I guess Ontario was the second guess with the insulator. So luckily it was not there, because then we probably would have lost, or definitely would have lost. But yeah, so luckily it was there, so that was a nice way to end it off. Definitely a deserved victory there for us, I would say. So that was nice, and yeah, happy to get Canada there. So now for the final, there's Australia and Argentina left. So the other semi-final is going to get one of those. And as you already know, Argentina is not my greatest country. Australia isn't either, but I would much rather have that than Argentina. So I was kind of hoping they get Argentina in the semi-final, which they end up actually getting here, I'm quite happy about that. So yeah, for the final, it's Australia, and my team was actually doing very well here. He said it was decent at Australia, and he very much showed that. So yeah, definitely got a bit lucky with my teammate again. He definitely wasn't a bad player at all. He very much played well. So here we just had a sign, so I just like immediately zoomed into the 5k. It's just literally the first thing I zoomed into. And they also found it, of course. That's gonna be no point in showing that. And here, yeah, I haven't learned my like outback roads. I didn't know what this was exactly. I thought maybe NT could work, like a southern NT. I thought about Queensland as well, but I didn't know what road it was, so this kind of lined up right here, and I kind of wanted to try it, so I ended up just going for that. And yeah, I mean, the 23 black car makes sense for where both of us guessed, so I just thought maybe this would work, but it was just some random road in Queensland instead. Which, I mean, yeah, maybe gettable. I mean, there was a very straight stretch of that angle, so maybe knowable, probably knowable, maybe for next time, but yeah, it is what it is. So here, I don't know, I thought this pole top, like here, looked very Tasmanian. I thought it was like a metal bar, which would indicate Tasmania. And like the general, like, grassy landscape with the white car, or I guess not the white car, but like, I don't know, just the general landscape sort of fits to me. So I thought like, maybe it's Tasmania, but it's a bit suspicious. So I definitely wanted it to hedge. So he actually told me to not go Tasmania here. He was like, no, it's never Tasmania. And I didn't hear him until like last second. But yeah, luckily they also thought it was Tasmania. So it's very good damage for us since we didn't commit Tasmania. But yeah, I should have listened to him and not sent there, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of in a time like I didn't hear him in time. But yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so that was a nice guess by him. And then here, it just kind of looked like a southern Australia again, like one of these forests in Victoria or something. It was very flat and looked coastal, so I just thought maybe this area down here could work. But I wanted to hedge a bit more than that, so I just went near Melbourne, I think, in the end, like here, yeah. And it ends up not being very coastal at all. It was just some random forest up in northern Vic. But yeah, they went in the mountains there, which doesn't really make sense, but you know, it happens. It's probably just a hedge, to be honest, so I shouldn't be guess shaming, which is fair enough to hedge that. So here we had some towns. It was obviously South Australia with the white car. But yeah, I couldn't find this. They were very small, these places. It was like this true row place, I think, which I had to zoom in a lot to see. So that was definitely not easy to see. And then we had another pole here. So I thought it was very flat, so Victoria made a lot of sense immediately. But I thought this pole was more NSW with like a trident format-ish. I thought it was more sort of likely to be NSW, but I definitely wasn't sure about that. I mean, the general like landscape and flatness makes more sense for Vic. I even considered Queensland here, but I realized that the trees were wrong, like in the distance. Yeah, and it ends up being Victoria, and it's a real nice guess from my teammate again there. And it's good damage, but not quite enough for game. So now we just need one more good round to end it off here. So again, it's kind of a situation where we don't want some random outback road that they might know. So here maybe I saw a short deflector here, so I thought like, okay, maybe some random road in Queensland, although it definitely looked more like the general area, like in northern NT where they went. And that was definitely the most likely thing, even though we had a short reflector, but I still wanted to hedge one. It's again like, if it is northern NT, it's not going to be that much damage. And like, we're in a good lead. I found a good angle in northern Queensland, so I was like, yeah, might as well hedge one, but yeah, was just there. So that's going to be like 700 points or something. It's not the end of the world. Or 900. But you know, it's fine. We still got a good lead. I still believe that this is very doable. And yeah, here we got the same road we got earlier, I think, on the other map, with the 2019 blue car. So this road, but the angle was very weird. And this was like the only place on the whole road that had this angle. So I thought that this was probably the 5k, since I was quite confident on the road with the copyright and car, and also looked like this. And there was literally no other place, because I thought up near Alice Springs it would be like a 24 or 23 copyrights, or with like black car. So yeah, it was indeed the 5k, and I definitely understand going up there. They have the same car and looks a bit similar, although the soil is a bit more like dark red and it's like got a different copyrights. But yeah, so that was it, and I did win that again, and that was my 3 weeks in a row wins. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again for Icy, or thanks to Icy I should say, for hosting the tourneys, and thanks to all my teammates. And yeah, that was it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. By the way, for like the 25k daily challenge thing, I did 25k on my like second video, but the audio was like so garbage that I didn't want to upload it, so I like didn't bother to upload it. I just like deleted the footage. Maybe I'll try again in the future if I can bother, but like otherwise I've done it. But yeah, so yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you another time.